So over here, what we're going to have, it's a preview of verb patterns, as I said before. So the idea of a verb pattern, it's like the different structures or the different rules that we have for the verbs, right? And when we talk about the verb patterns, what we know is that we have especially two, right? When we talk about verb patterns, we know, and this is something that we have seen a lot of times, is that we have especially two. The first one, it's going to be, wait, wait. Cambiar de pantalla, yes. Exactly like that. So in that case, what we're going to do is to have two different, how do you say it, patterns. The first one, it's the gerund, yes, and the second one is the infinitive, right? You know that when we talk about gerunds, it's simply just talking about the verbs in ing, working, doing, being, having. That's the gerund. And when we talk about the infinitive, well, it's the same verb, but in the basic form. To do, to work, to have, to be, in the basic form, usually before it, sorry, after the two. Yes, so normally, not always, but usually it's like that with the preposition to and then the verb in infinitive, right? What does it depend on if I use gerund or if I use infinitive? Well, it's going to depend on the thing that we have after. Depending on the verb or on the thing that we have before, no after, sino before, we're going to decide to use gerund or we are going to decide to use infinitive, right? The first thing is that we have to take into account what kind of verb do we have afterwards. For example, we can have the verbs followed by gerund. Verbs like, for example, avoid, like, for example, consider, like, for example, dislike, end up, which is like result or resultar, right? Enjoy, finish, go on, which it's like continue, imagine, right? Don't mind, which is like don't have problems with, miss, spend time doing something, think about doing something, and suggest doing something, ready? And the other one, I cannot say that is quit. Well, quit is the one that is here, yes, in the last part. All of these verbs are verbs that normally are always followed by gerunds, right? For example, I could say that let's change the color for a black one. I would say that I imagine you working outside. Yeah, because you are a environmental engineer, so I imagine you working outside. Yes. In this case, for example, it's like including an object. Yeah, in that case, I imagine, aquí me imagino a ti. So, okay, I imagine you working outside. But the next verb is a verb in gerund, right? So, no problem. Or sometimes I can have a verb after a gerund, after the verb, without the object, no? For example, I would say, I always, I always end up waiting for people because I am very punctual. So I always end up waiting for people, right? So hasta ahí is, right? In that case, I don't have an object. It's just siempre termino and then directly the action, the verb in the gerund form, right? Entonces, all of these verbs are usually followed by a verb in gerund, no? Could you please read the example over here, Andre? Sorry.
I enjoy running in the forest.
I enjoy running in the forest, right? So easy. Enjoy and then the verb in the gerund form.
Teacher, an example we think about.
Of course. Wait. Yeah, that's it. I am thinking about, I am thinking about getting a new motorcycle. Wait, sorry, motorbike. Motorcycle, perdón. Think about, it's like pensar acerca de algo. So if ese algo is an action, it's going to be in gerund. I am thinking about getting a new motorcycle. Or for example, I usually think about creating new material for my classes, for example, right? Or for example, environmental engineers usually think about reducing the impact of the human in the environment, for example, right?
Okay, teacher.
Ready? Any other, my dear? For example, spend time.
What is the meaning of spend time?
Spend
Como
time is
gastar
like,
tu tiempo.
yes, exactly. Doing something, no? So, for example, I suppose, Andre, that you spend a lot of time working, or you spend a lot of time going to the gym, or you spend a lot of time working out, so exercising, right? Mhm.
Okay, teacher.
Ready? Any other that it's not clear, my dear?
Go on.
Well, go on. It's like continue doing something, right? So, for example,
Okay.
go on doing your activities. So, continue doing your activities, right?
Okay, okay.
Mhm. Very good. Bueno, my dear. So, all of them with gerunds, of course. Now, this example of think about, it's one example actually of the next table. The next table are going to be verbs also use followed by gerund, but because in that case they are, I wait, sorry, no, sorry, these ones are verbs usually followed by infinitive, sorry, right? Espera, wait, I am looking, no, mentiras, ahora sí,
Teacher,
ya.
I have a doubt.
Bien.
These verbs always are after before.
Yes, exactly. So these verbs that we have here are before and then after it's going to be the verb in general, right?
Always.
Always, right? Exactly.
Okay.
Ready? Claro, of course, these verbs can also be in present continuous, o sea, they can also be in gerund. For example, I am thinking about changing my career, for example. Entonces, este también puede estar conjugado en un tiempo cualquiera. So actually, this verb can be conjugated in present, future, past, future perfect, future continuous. So, for example, I can say, I don't know, in this moment, I am missing, playing soccer with my friends. It's missing because it's present continuous. Aquí es porque es presente continuo que está en ing, pero el verbo que vaya después de miss sí va a ir en ing sin necesidad de que sea present continuous, ¿ready? Entonces, este verbo lo voy a conjugar en el tiempo que sea necesario, ¿right? El otro, que es el que está después, ese sí siempre va a ir en gerund, ¿ready?
Okay, teacher.
¿Listo? Bueno, also, then, bueno, in this case, it's only the verb. En este caso es solo el verbo, but the next examples are going to be verbs followed by preposition. Por ejemplo, think about, it has the preposition about. All of the verbs that we have here are in the same thing. They are followed by a preposition. Be afraid of, estar asustado de. Be angry about, estar enojado por. Ready? Be bad at, ser malo para. Be excited about, estar emocionado por. Be famous for, be good at. Be known for, ser conocido por. Be sad about, estar triste por. Be scared of, be tired of, be worried of, be interested in. So all of these, as you can notice, are adjectives, characteristics. Known, sad, scared, tired, worried. Of course, in this case, I'm going to have the verb to be in all of them. I am, for example, I am, no sé, I am afraid, scared. Let's use scared. Scared of no sé, I am scared of flying. Digamos, it's an example, not real, but it's an example. I am scared of flying in an airplane, right? So after preposition, the verb is always going to be in gerund, yes? Mira que todas estas preposiciones terminan en preposición. Preposición of, about, at, about, for, by, also. So all of them are going to be followed by a gerund sentence, right?
Specifically, this preposition.
Yes, la única preposición that is not followed by gerund, it's to. Es la única que está seguida por infinitive,
Yes,
pero el
yes,
resto,
but
sí.
afraid always
Yes.
with of, hungry always with about.
Those are called collocations, Andre. Collocations are couple of words that are always together, ¿cierto? For example, when I say depend, en español usamos depende de. pero en inglés no decimos depend of, sino depend on. Y así como esa, all of these prepositions are collocations, o sea, siempre están juntas with the same thing, right? ¿Listo?
Yes, teacher.
Sometimes I can change it. For example, I could say that I am excited for instead of excited about. But normally it's with this one, right? So, o sea, si la cambio, no es que vaya a cambiar completamente la oración, sino que normalmente se usa esta que está ahí, pero puedo, digamos, if I change it accidentally, it's not going to be bad, right?
Yes, teacher.
Listo, dear. Bueno, so in that case, as I said, all of them were to be afraid for, be at, to. It's very easy, no? So, Andre, what about you? Well, in the previous one, I forgot to ask you, but in this one, what is something that you are good at?
Mm, Teacher, I am good at to be more disciplined.
I am good at what?
To be very disciplined.
Como es
Is
good
correct.
at. Ya
Good
tienes
at.
la preposición, ya no necesitas tú, ¿sí, no?
Ah, okay.
I am good at
Doing. Being.
being, right? Soy
Ah,
buena
okay.
para ser disciplinada. Incluso el verb to be también tiene su forma en infinitivo. Es literalmente be más ing, o sea, being, right?
Ah, okay. Esa no la he usado mucho.
Exacto. Y es muy importante porque es como, por ejemplo, en este caso, no sé, I am known as a teacher, I am known for being funny. No sé, one example, right? So, soy conocido por ser gracioso, for example, right? So in that case, it's very used about expressions of gerund using being, ready? Porque pues obviamente el verb to be es muy usado, entonces it's important to take it into account, ready?
Yes, teacher.
Mhm. Listo, my dear. So I am good at being disciplined. That's it, right? What about something that you're worried about?
Teacher, I am worried wo- worried about having less time for all things in the day.
Good, very good, excellent. So you are worried about having less time. Good, excellent. But I can say also, for example, what is something that you were worried about in the past? It's still with the verb to be, but the verb to be in the past, no? So can be. Because here we have verb to be, but it can be conjugated in any tense. So when you were a child, when you were a little kid, Andre, what were you worried about?
Hmm. When I was a child, I was worried about uh, having more eyes.
Having more
Or
eyes?
no, no, eyes no. How do you say, teacher, helado?
Ah, okay. Ice
Ice cream.
cream.
Yeah, ice
Ah,
cream.
okay, very good. So you were worried about having more ice cream to eat.
More
Yes,
ice cream. Yes.
very good, excellent. So in that case, it can be I am, I was, I have been, I will be, any way of future of the verb to be, right? Yes, all
Yes,
right.
teacher.
So I could say, for example, that in the future, probably I will be afraid of listening music, for example. No say I will be afraid of going to the street. So in that case, the verb to be can be conjugated to any tense. ¿Listo? Ready? Bueno,
Yes,
my
teacher.
dear, those are the expressions with prepositions also used in gerund. Ready? Now we're gonna have here the next one, which is six verbs that they can use gerund or infinitive, and it's the same. Ready? Bueno, for example, here we have the previous example, which was I am famous for being cute. So the little panda, it says, I am famous for being cute. Yes. Amazing. Good. But in that case, we are going to have six verbs that they can use gerunds or infinitive, and it's the same. O sea, they can be hate to do something and hate doing something, and it's exactly the same, right? Hate, like, love, continue, start, and prefer. Ready? I can say I prefer to have a lot of time. I prefer having a lot of time. And both are okay, no problem. I start to exercise every day. I start exercising every day. And it's okay, no problem, right? So in that case, you can use both and no problem. For example, my dear, could you please read the example over here?
I love to eat fish.
Or
I love eating fish.
I love eating fish. And it's the same, no? So I love to eat fish. I love eating fish. It's going to be basically the same. Ready? And the questions in these verbs, these ones are super easy, no? Because they are like easy
Yes,
to
teacher,
understand.
but only these verbs.
Yes, well, these verbs can receive gerund infinitive and the meaning doesn't change. But in a minute, we're going to see other verbs that they can receive gerunds and infinitive, but they change the meaning, no? So, for example, the verb regret, no? So we have the verb, do you remember what is the meaning of the verb regret? What
Sí,
significa
es
regret?
como arrepentirse.
Exactly. But if I say I regret to inform, it's different than if I say I regret informing. Entonces, hay otros verbos que también aceptan ing y gerund, pero para esos verbos sí va a cambiar, en cambio para este no, right? Para estos seis es lo mismo que uses gerund o que uses infinitive. Ahorita vemos
The
los
meaning
demás
is
que son, aceptan los dos, pero son diferentes, right?
okay, teacher.
Okay, my dear. Bueno, muy bien, very good. And the last ones, of course, are going to be the verbs that are followed by infinitive. These ones are more common because these are verbs that we normally use. For example, choose, elegir, ¿cierto? Decide, expect, esperar, forget, olvidar, ready? Well, actually, forget is also, it can receive both. We are going to see it in a second, ready? Happen, yeah, so it happens to be a hope to, intend to, intend it's like try to, similar, it's a synonym of try to, pretend, which is like fingir something, right? Plan to, offer to, need to, learn to, and here we have, I don't know, what is the verb that is here, Andre? What is the last one?
What? Querer.
Ah, one, sí, es que acá me apareció una barra de zoom y no puedo ver. Okay.
Ah, sí.
One, exactly, one, two. So, which is easy verbs, right? So normally in this case, they are followed by to and then the verb in infinitive. No, so for example, I offer to pay the dinner. To pay dinner, yes. Not I offer paying, no, I offer to pay dinner, no. So I pretend to be serious. Yo como que intento ser serio, right? But I'm not that serious, so I pretend to be serious. Or I try to, or I decide to, or I expect to, right? So in this
Yes.
case, it's very simple because those are less verbs. These verbs are fewer, yes, are more commonly verbs, usually followed by gerunds. These ones are fewer and are more common. So we are more familiarized with these verbs than with the gerunds. Ready? Andre, hasta ahí como más questions, difficulties, problems so far?
No, teacher.
No, all good. Listo, my dear. I'm going to ask you two questions and I just want you to answer. Could you please help me to read?
When did you decide to study English?
Mm-hmm.
Mm, when I was in the university,
Mm-hmm.
eh, I decide to study English for obligation.
Well, in that case, you didn't decide it. You had to study, but it was not your decision. But recently, with us, when did you decide? You said, no, I have to study English again. When did you decide that?
Eh, I decided to study in English. What is the meaning? What is the mm, como conscientemente,
Consciously, consciously.
consciously, in 2019.
Ah, okay, long time ago. My God.
Yes, and I started more discipline, but the pandemic.
Ah, my God. Okay. Well, for example, in that case, you could say the pandemic stopped me. No,
Stop
stopped.
me. Yes, because in that moment I
Mhm.
studied a presential form
Ah,
or
with the smart?
no
No.
in other school.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
But in the pandemic I stopped the course.
Okay, of course, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, well, good, very good. So in that case, that's when you decided. So you just have to change the academy for the pandemic, but you decided long time ago.
Yes. In that case, in March, in March, I saw I said these moments, yes,
Okay, so this is the moment
como
for studying.
estaba así, así, no sé cómo
Okay.
decirlo.
Now you said like in that moment, I said it's moment to study. Yeah, or it's time to. You could say it's time to. Of course, como tiene tú, pues
It's
it's in
time to,
infinity, ¿no? It's time to.
yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Listo, André, muy bien, very good. And well, the second question. Could you please read the second question, dear?
What do you do suggest for learning faster?
Good. What do you suggest for learning faster?
What is the meaning of question? ¿Cuál es la
Do you remember what the meaning of suggest?
qué haces? ¿Qué sugieres para aprender más rápido?
Exactly, very good, excellent. What do you suggest for learning faster?
Em, for learning faster, I suggest having, mm, no sé cómo decirlo,
Okay.
several forms to or several tools for learning.
Yes, good. Very good.
Maybe to hear, to see, uh, to see movies or several tools.
Very good. Excellent. Well, and for example, in the first one, yes, no. So I decided to study in March. Ta, ta, ta. I said it's time to. Okay. Here you said I suggest having several tools. O sea, having obviamente ing porque está después de suggest, ¿cierto? Los demás verbos que usaste, por ejemplo, listening, watching
Dicen,
movies, como también están después de suggest, pues normalmente
también
como que
entonces irían en
uso,
IN. Yes.
exacto. So I would say, for example, I suggest having a lot of different tools for learning, listening music, watching movies, watching videos, no? All of them into the same form because they are following the same verb, which is suggest, right?
Yes, teacher.
Listo, my dear. So, well, basically, that's the thing. Making these kind of exercises is going to is going to help you to remember or to memorize if the verb is with gerund or it's with infinitive, right? Let me, I cancel here the presentation. Bueno, over here. Good. Bueno, dear, so over there, those are like the basic verbs, no? If it's used with gerund, with infinitive, like the most common ones, ready? But at the same time, we're going to find out that we have other different patterns, no? So when we talk about the different patterns, we have two, gerunds and infinitive. But inside gerunds and infinitive, we're going to have two different kinds. The first pattern, and let me just make this bigger so you can see very well. The first pattern is when we have the basic one. It's the verb number one, plus two, plus the verb number two. That's it. Sencillo. I said, tend to think. I pretend to be. I try to be, whatever, right? So infinitive. But sometimes those verbs include an object. Remember the object that we talked about yesterday? But it's the same. So I can say, for example, inspire a person to do something, really. Or for example, my mother wants me to be a better person. Sometimes I can include an object. So the action is received and the to it's used for describing that this person, like one person, the subject that is before, uh, like it's going to do this action over this object to do the other action. That is where I include the infinitive. Ready? So it's a little bit more complicated than that because in that case, I just want, for example, to do something. The action is for the subject. But here, the action that it's in infinitive, it's not for the subject, but is going to be for the object. Who wants to change? Me, right? So there is another person who is going to do this action over another subject to do the other action that I finally put over here. Ready? So depends on the action. I have to or I don't have to include the object. Ready? How do you feel? We're going to see some examples of this pattern, but it's easy, right? But we're going to see some examples of that, right?
Okay, teacher.
The patterns with the infinite with the germ, it's basically the same. Yes, I can have the first one, which is simply verb and germ. Verb number one, verb number two in ing. I hate choosing my outfits. I enjoy having ta ta ta. That's it. Or it's also a possibility that I can include another person into the equation. But if I include them, it's going to be necessary, similar as here we have the two, here it's necessary to include another preposition, just that in that case, the preposition can vary, can change, right? For example, it's prevent somebody from doing something. It means evitar que alguien haga algo, right? Or encourage me, well, in that case, it would do, but I can have other different ones, no? With different prepositions, no? So not only from, but we're going to see that we have other different prepositions, right? This is basically the same, but with the preposition is going to change. And if the preposition is not to, but it's different from, for, about, the verb is going to be in gerund, not in infinitive, ready? So let's check some of the examples that we have in every single pattern. A ver. In the first pattern, normal, verb plus infinitive, I have these verbs. Afford, it means pagar por, fail, fallar. Hasten, it means like, yeah, like luchar por algo, right? Learn, aprender. Prepare, proceed, seek, and strive, which is also like buscar something, right? So in that case, what I do is to use, I don't have an object, no? These verbs are intransitive, so they don't require an object. I said, for example, I can afford I can afford to pay for vacations, no sé, for example, right? It means I can afford to pay. Here, it's not going to be an object always, anywhere, like never. It's never going to be an object, right? Because it's an intransitive verb, so it doesn't have the possibility to receive an object. On the other case, we have other verbs like, for example, advise, similar to suggest, like recommend, allow, authorize, cause, convince, encourage, instruct, permit, persuade, and urge. All of these actions are going to go over an object. Convince somebody to do something. Encourage, motivar somebody to do something. Permit, similar to allow, somebody to do something. For example, no sé, my motorcycle or my bike allows me to to move around easier. Yes, so The action, the object, the subject in this case is the one that does this action. Me lo permite. ¿A quién? To me. ¿Qué me permite? To move around faster. So in this case, the focus of the sentence is going to be the object because the object is going to receive both actions. The action that the subject does and also the other action in infinitive, it's for the object too. Ready? So in that case, that's easier, but these verbs are always over another object. Advise, allow. Any questions of vocabulary, Andre? Advise, allow, authorize, cause.
Mm, encourage. I don't remember what is the meaning.
Encourage and urge, ambos are synonyms of motivate.
Okay.
Ready? Motivate. So I urge people to study a lot. I encourage my students to practice vocabulary. Something like that. Ready?
Okay, teacher.
Good, my dear. So that's the one. And then when we talk about infinitives, pardon, gerunds, right? When we talk about gerunds, we're going to have the other two patterns. The first one, which is the same that we have seen, can see other different verbs, like for example, can help, no poder evitar, can see, no poder ver, can stand, no poder soportar, right? Enjoy, get through, vamos a pasar por keep on, ya estamos hablando de phrasal verbs, don't mind, porque ya vimos miss, postpone, bueno, eso ya los habíamos visto, right? Entonces, in that case, normally, they don't receive any object. It's just, for example, I can see, I don't know, let's say, oh my God, I can see traveling alone. It means like no puedo ver, no puedo ver, like, something like that. Yes. So of course we have the example here. I can see buying high prices for clothes that will be out of style in a year. Like something that you cannot conceive, no? It's like it's impossible to think about that, right? So these verbs, they don't have any object. I can help. I can help staying up late. No puedo evitar trasnochar, staying up late. It's for me, it's impossible to go to the bed earlier. As for example, for you, you can help waking up early. No, it's already your biological clock. It's like calling you to wake up, right? Something that you can help. And always the verb is in gerund. Traveling, staying up, whatever. Ready? But then we have the other pattern, which is with the object, right? In that case, careful with the prepositions. Blame somebody for, culpar por, dissuade from, como, how do you say, like the opposite of convencer, como
Disuadir.
desconvencer. Disuadir, yes,
Desconvencer.
exactly. Desconvencer, disuadir, right? Forgive for, like perdonar por, interest in, o sea, como interesar a alguien en, right? Keep from, evitar que, right? Suspect of, sospechar de, and thank for, agradecer por. Ready? Of course, all of those actions are going to go over an object. For example, I thank my mom for giving me everything, giving me, bueno, a lot of things, opportunities, giving me education, whatever, So, but I thank my mom, yes, for doing something, right? Or I thank God for helping me in difficult times, something like that, right? So in that case, those verbs, they sometimes, no, it's not always the same, but usually they are over an object. Yes, these actions go over an object. So not only I can have two and then the verb infinitive or then the verb in ing, but sometimes it's necessary to include the object depending on the verb. How do you feel, Andre? Questions, vocabulary? I know that it's a lot of vocabulary, but questions on vocabulary?
No, teacher.
No, it's all right. Of course, as I told you yesterday, this week, it's too much vocabulary. In this moment of your process, it's easier to remember this vocabulary because most of this vocabulary you have seen it. But anyway, don't feel frustrated if you forget many of these words. The only way to do that is repeating 20,000 times. So as I told you yesterday, maybe from this week, you are going to remember 6, 10 verbs, 10 phrasal verbs, and from this class, other different 5 or 10 verbs followed by gerunds or infinitive. But it's not a problem. When you perfect the use of these verbs, you are going to continue with others, and then you start perfecting, o sea, como perfeccionando, you start perfecting the use of those verbs, then you can move into other verbs and so on until you manage them perfect. Okay, dear?
Yes, teacher.
So perfect. And finally, we're going to have the last 4 verbs, and they are easy to remember. They are easy, but well, sometimes a little bit tricky. These ones are the verbs that are followed by gerunds or infinitives, but they mean something different, right? They mean something completely different. For example, here we have the verb forget. Yes, I can have forget to do something or forget doing something. Ready? Let's read it and then you try to explain if you understand or not. Read the purple part, my dear.
The example.
No, the purple part first and then the example. First, the purple part.
I can see very well the
Mm.
first part. Forget followed by an infinitive and
Should I make it bigger like this?
yes.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
Uh, uh,
Aye, that's it.
yes. Forget followed by an infinitive refers to something you didn't actually do.
Uh-huh.
Forget followed by a gerund refers to an action that you in fact did earlier.
Mhm, exactly. So when I have forget followed by an infinitive, o sea, for example, Marcelo forgot to meet his best friend on the train station, is an action that I didn't do because I forgot. O sea, se me olvidó, I didn't do it, right?
Yes.
My God, I forgot to pay the rent, se me olvidó pagar la renta, I forgot to do it. O sea, no lo hice, right? But if I mention forget an ing, it is an action that I did, but I forget didn't, but I did it, right? For example, Marcelo never forgot meeting his favorite actor. So it's something that he did, but he doesn't remember that he did it, right? Or for example, I am not sure, I forgot turning off the TV. Maybe I did it, but I don't remember. O sea, posiblemente sí lo hice, pero no me acuerdo, right? So in that
Okay.
case, it's different forget to and forget ing. Right?
Okay.
Hmm. See, it's clear or not? No, it's not that clear.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
This is very good, excellent, good.
For example, when I don't security about to do something.
In that case, is this one, no? Hmm. So, muy
For
bien.
example, close to the door, close
Eh,
the door.
that's the one. For example, I am not sure I forgot closing the door. Not sure
Okay.
if I did it or not, right? Mhm.
Yes.
Perfect. Then we have the verb mean. Mean, which means significar, but also it's talking about intentions, no? So do me the favor, please read the purple part again.
Mean followed by an infinity means intent. In this case, mean is usually used in negative or in the past tense. Mean
Mhm.
followed by a gerund means involve or
Necessity.
necessitate.
Exactly.
Necessitate.
So when I use mean followed by an infinitive, for example, I meant to visit Shayla while I was in Hawaii, but I didn't have the chance. It's like I tried to. So
Yes.
I meant to do that, but it didn't happen. Yes, that was my intention, but it never happened, right? Or they say usually in the past or in the negative form. Usually, for example, no say I said something. I said one joke and you got offended. You said, my God, no, Andreas ofended you. So I said, I didn't mean to offend you, to offend you in the past and negative, no? So like, no, no intentaba, or it was not my intention to offend you, right? So when I say mean plus to plus the verb infinitive, it's like it is my intention, right? So I can use it normally in the negative form or in the past tense. Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Now the other one, it's like mean and ing. In that case, it means involve or necessitate. So when I say like, no es que hacer esto significa tal cosa, for example, no? In that case, I say inviting Emil to the party means inviting Eva too. She would be so insulted if we didn't. So means plus the gerund, it's not the same. In that case, it's my intention. In this case, it's like one thing causes the other. No, for example, studying English means dedicating a lot of time to activities, or learning English means no sé, watching a lot of videos, for example. So one thing involves or causes the other action. That's when I use mean plus the verb in gerund, right?
Okay.
Mm. Yes, good. And the last one, the last verb, which we're going to check over here, it's going to be the verb regret. Ready? Oh, bueno, these expressions we already talk about it, but here we have the verb regret. Lo mismo, regret to and regret ing. Ready? And they read the purple part, my dear, the first part.
Regret followed by infinitives such as inform, announce, and say is a polite way of introducing bad news in official communication. Regret followed by a gerund means be sorry for about.
Exactly. No? So regret, it's feeling bad for some, right? If it's regret to, it's used normally when it's a formal speech. The president, the major, the boss of the company. And when they're going to include bad news, they say, when I am sorry, I regret to inform that the company will be closed in the first, like, no sé, from the first part of the year, for example. No? So I regret to inform, I regret to announce, I regret to say, like, it's bad. I am sorry, but I have to say that, but it's bad. So that's the way in which they do it. I regret to inform, I regret to announce, or I regret to say, especially in official communications, right? And when I use regret
For
plus the verb ing,
example,
yes,
regrets to inform is como, es que no entiendo como la traducción bien.
yes, in Spanish, how would you say that? Me apena informar, like, could be. Hmm?
Ah, ok.
Es que no
Siento
sé cómo.
informar.
Es good like that. Exactly. For example, when the
Ah, ok.
doctor, somebody died, no, and the doctor is going to tell the
Ujú,
family, I regret to inform that your relative died. No? So bad news.
ujú,
Ready?
ok.
And the other one, it's regret and ing. Ready? They are going to be, it's going to be used when I am saying that I feel bad for something, right? So I regret not having more time for myself. I regret working at night, is an example. I regret,
Ahí sí es como me arrepiento.
yes, exactly, como me arrepiento de o me siento mal por, right? Yes, basically, ahí sí es el normalito
Ok.
de siempre, right? Listo, my dear, good.
And in that example, Donna really regret
Regret it?
missing her best friends. Wedding sería como Donna realmente lamenta extrañarla,
Perderse. Ah, bueno, aquí es miss, es
extrañ-
perder.
perder.
¿Mm?
Ah, ok. Perder su mejor amiga.
La
What
boda
is
de su
the
mejor
meaning?
amiga, wedding.
Wedding. Ah, la boda de su
La
mejor
boda,
amiga.
exacto.
Pero
sea que
Ahí le
no
causa uno un
puede.
poquito de conflicto porque uno siempre ve el ing como ando en.
Ando. Ah, sí, bueno, eso, digamos que eso es justamente cosa, digamos, parte de lo que tenemos que cambiar aquí, porque pues vemos que el gerund lo puedes usar en muchos momentos y la mayoría no va a ser ando endo, sino es más bien después de ciertos verbos, después de ciertas expresiones, ¿ready? Pero si ya uno, hay como cambiar el chip de que ando, de que ing no siempre es ando endo,
Okay, teacher.
¿ready?
Yes.
Bien, my dear, excelente. Hasta ahí, questions, problems?
Em, mi duda es si hay más, me imagino que muchos verbos cambia el significado cuando es
Not that
con
much.
tú, no.
No
Ah, ok.
tantas, no. Hay otro que es stop. Ay, my God, es que stop es un caso aparte. But stop, it's used with both. The meanings are very similar, but when I say stop plus to plus the verb infinitive, it's like I was doing something, yo estaba haciendo algo y paré para hacer otra cosa. Por ejemplo, I stopped to drink water. Ready? I stopped to drink water. O sea, significa paré la clase. Por ejemplo, I was in class and I stopped to drink water. Yes. But if I use the to stop plus the verb in ing, is dejar, o sea, parar esa acción para siempre. O sea, for example, I stop drinking so much coffee. Bueno, drinking black coffee. Yes. It means, no, me está haciendo daño y I stop drink, ves que es drinking, sorry. Drinking black coffee, o sea, estaba haciéndome daño, entonces yo dejé de. ¿Ready? Entonces, stop to do something es parar para hacer algo, and stop doing something es dejar de hacer algo. O sea, parar algo, pero como dejar de hacerlo, como un hábito. ¿Ready?
Yes, teacher.
¿Ready? Esos son como los más comunes, really. Actually, I don't know any other, no conozco más. Son como los más comunes. Estos cuatro, stop es como un casito especial, but that's it, right? That's the thing. And I would like to finish, sé que ya te he incluido demasiadas cosas, pero I would like to finish with some prepositions. Yes, ya los habíamos visto, prepositions followed by, oh my God, be good at, be convinced of, but I would like to include some expressions that are with adjectives, pero are followed by infinitive. Ready? Entonces, en este caso es be amazed to do something. Be ashamed to do something. Be determined to do something. Be eager to do something. Be happy to do something. Be hesitant to do. Be ready to. Be lucky to. Si te fijas, ninguna de estas tiene preposición al final. Cuando tienen preposición, por ejemplo, be good at, be no sé qué, in that case, I can use the gerund. ¿Cierto? Cuando tengo otras preposiciones, pero estas expresiones, que son también con adjetivos, pero no tienen otra preposición, van a usar to y luego el verb infinitive, ¿cierto? Entonces, I am amazed to live alone. Yes. Actually, I was worried about living alone. Yes. ¿Por qué? La preposición ya está ahí, es be worried about. Pero aquí, be amazed, no tiene otra preposición, por lo tanto incluyo to and the verb infinitive. I am amazed to live alone. I am happy to live with my wife. I am ready to, no sé, I am ready to exercise. I am lucky to have a good job. Ready? Pero en los otros casos que ya tienen preposiciones determinadas, then it's going to be the ing. Okay, André? Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Good. Entonces, como te das
Without
cuenta, dime.
preposition,
Ujú.
eh, without preposition, I can to use to plus infinity.
Exactly, that's it, right? So
It's more easy.
it's easier, exactly. That one is easier, ready? Mm. So, como te das cuenta, es mucha información, mucho vocabulario esta semana, right? A good idea would be to make glossaries, but anyway, con todo y glosarios, con todo y estudio, es muy complicado aprenderse digamos, todos los verbos como tal y en qué caso va cada uno, right? Entonces, what I do is just try to work in groups. Es de aquí cojo tres, de aquí cojo dos, de aquí cojo uno, normal, right? Entonces, I can use some groups so I can remember better the verbs, right? It's a lot of vocabulary, but as I told you, I don't expect you to learn everything at the same time. No espero que aprendas todos los verbos de una vez, no, of course not. Entonces, just it's necessary to repeat a lot of times. So until you finish to memorize some of the verbs, not all, even me, I don't remember if all the verbs are followed by gerund or infinitive. Maybe I made both examples in my head and I said, no, I think I have listened this one. Como que pongo los dos ejemplos en la cabeza y digo, creo que he escuchado este. But sometimes it's difficult to remember if it's gerund or infinitive. So I just recommend to keep practicing, but don't get frustrated if you don't remember. Okay, Andre?
Yes, teacher.
No idea. Questions, anything, difficulties, problems?
No, teacher, is clear.
No, it's clear. Listo. Try to, well, as I told you, make some examples with the verbs. So you try to, with your life, no? So for example, you take the verbs with the last paragraph, the last pattern with prepositions. So you said, bueno, estos eran los ejemplos, ¿no? Entonces, blame for, ¿a quién culpo? Ah, no, I blame my ex for finishing the relationship, for example. ¿A quién perdoné? Bueno, I forgave my best friend for making me wait in the station, for example. So try to make the examples related to your life. Algo muy cercano a ti, and it's going to be more meaningful. Va a ser más significativo. Por lo tanto, es como más fácil de recordar. Ready?
Yes, teacher.
Listo, Andrés.
Thank you
Bueno,
very much.
no, thanks to you, my dear, for the attention. Sé que no es fácil poner atención a toda esta cantidad de vocabulario. Bueno, bueno. We hope so that you can remember some of that. So that's it for today, my dear. Thank you for being here. See you the next week. The next week we only have one class, so it's gonna be easy for you, okay?
Okay, teacher. Thank you very much.
Bueno, my dear, have a good night. Enjoy. Take advantage of the holiday on Monday. And that's it. See you the next week, okay?
Yes, teacher. The same for you.
Ciao, my
Thank
dear.
you very
See you
much.
later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.